Hey, what's up, guys? So this is going to be probably the most important, well, scratch that, it's going to be the most important video because the entire course will be for nothing unless you're able to get phone calls and get work. So make sure you're taking notes, whatever you got to do, but pay close attention. So with marketing, you're going to have a ton of options. You're going to get a lot of phone calls saying, "Hey, we're going to promise you this many leads per month," and you're just going to feel like you need to say yes. So I want to save you a little bit of headache by giving you the knowledge that I know because I've tried all these methods. Now, it's not to say that it won't work in your city. I'm just going to give you my experience. We might agree, we might disagree. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to help you guys. So let's start off with Craigslist. Craigslist is really where everybody wants to start. And I say this because it's not that it's a great source for leads, but it's a great source for you to practice closing jobs, getting familiar with the industry, going out to bid jobs, and it's not going to cost you a lot. It's going to cost you $5 to throw up an ad. Do this on the weekends, do this on your days off, do it on evenings. But it serves well for practicing closing jobs and getting your feet wet. So Craigslist is always a good option. The next option that might be calling you is Angie's List. I know they called me as soon as I started my business, and it was a huge waste of time for me. Um, they signed me up on a $4,000 contract for a year. Within the first 3 months, I received 3 leads, and I closed one of those leads. And it's not that I'm bad at closing; it's just that they weren't sending me any leads to close. So in my book, that was a waste of time. I would never do that again. But like I said, maybe it didn't work in my city, but it might work in your city. Or maybe it didn't work in this industry, but it works in other industries. I know for a fact that it works for somebody else because they told me it worked in the tree removal industry. They spend $60,000 a year to make $750,000 a year in tree removal. So I'm just giving you my experience with them. The next one on my list is HomeAdvisor. You're going to Google them, you're going to go to YouTube and type in HomeAdvisor, and you're just going to see a ton of bad stuff about them. They've been sued by tons of people. They give out false leads. They're sneaky when they call you on the phone. You're gonna get it. I've had guys call me and they say, "Hey, my name's Bob. I have 3 junk removal jobs in your area. Are you interested?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, Bob. Give me the information." He's like, "Well, in order for you to get this information, you have to sign up for HomeAdvisor." That's just sneaky, and I don't like it. So, in my opinion, stay away from this company. If I was to stay away from any of these, it would be this one the most. So, with that, at your own discretion. The next one on my list is Yelp. Yelp does work in, I know, California for a fact. A lot of guys have success with Yelp. It's just really well known out there. They use it a lot for a lot of things. Um, in in my opinion, I didn't like using it because of the messaging. I'd rather get a phone call. I'd rather just communicate with somebody right away. In my opinion, I wasn't getting enough responses to the messages that I was sending back for bids, and I didn't like it. So there's another app that's similar to that. It's called Thumbtack. I did have some success with that at the beginning. After a while, the leads started getting more expensive, and I just stopped using it also for the fact of the messaging. I didn't like the messaging. It's just, to me, when you're driving, when you're busy, you just want to take a call, make sure you can close it over the phone. Sometimes you can say something better over the phone than you can through a message. So, in my opinion, you can use Thumbtack, see if it works out for you in your city. It might or might not, but it's one of those where you could take a shot with it. The next one on my list is Google Ads, and it's no surprise because I talk about Google Ads all the time. This is the one that I preach on about because if you do this correctly, it will make you money immediately. Google Ads does work basically everywhere. Only time it doesn't work, and I've talked about this before also in one of my previous videos, is if it's a small population, it just might not work for you. But overall, Google Ads for paid marketing is the best option for this industry. And I do help people with this. I've helped hundreds of people with this. I've changed lots of people's lives by turning them onto Google Ads and managing their stuff. I've had guys, one of my first testimonials on here, he went from one truck and barely getting any jobs to now he's running 3 trucks and doing 50K every single month. So it's proof that it works, and there's tons of testimonials out there that the Google Ads works as long as you do it correctly. So with that said, the next one, we're talking about Google right now. The next one is SEO. This is where you rank on Google organically. Overall, this is where you want to be at the end of the day, and it's kind of the long game. And what I mean by that is Google, in order to rank, you have to do things correctly, and there has to be a recipe that'll work. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. So what I mean by that is you want to have a well-built website from the beginning with good SEO implemented into it from the beginning. Because if you don't do this, you're just going to be working backwards all the time. I'll give you some examples of that. If you hire a company that only builds websites and doesn't do SEO, you're going to get a website built by a designer, not an SEO expert. The website will never rank. If you take the website to a marketing agency, that marketing agency will say they have to remake your website in order to do SEO and to get it to rank. At that point, you've wasted money having that first website built because now you have to build a second one. And not only have you wasted money, now you've wasted time. And the way that SEO works is it could take up to a year depending on how competitive the area is. So now you waited for this first website to start ranking. It never took off, however long you waited, and then you come to a new company, and if they do know what they're doing, it might start ranking in a year. And if they don't know what they're doing, you're just wasting time. So I suggest that unless you have prior experience to ranking organically, you hire this out to somebody who knows what they're doing. And I'm not trying to push you on my services. I just want to make sure that everybody does this the right way so that they don't lose money in the long run. So if you do decide to go with another company that's not me, I suggest you highly get referrals from them. Specifically companies that they've worked for that are junk removal specific, because not every industry is the same, and just because they're good at marketing doesn't mean that they're going to be good at marketing your specific business. We're actually going to go through really shortly for an audit. I get audits all the time. If you want me to audit your website and kind of go over what I look for when I'm doing SEO, you can email me at junkremovalmoney.com. Just send me the link to your site. Send me the cities or the specific service area that you're targeting, and I will take a look at it. I'm going to go through an example right now of a website that was sent to me I think it was today, maybe last night. But this is what I'll do when I get one of these emails. And let's take a look at this site really quick. So it's called junksomething.com. And if I remember correctly, this guy said he is trying to rank for junk removal services in Dallas. Now, when we get to the site, I can tell right off the bat that this is a GoDaddy website. It's just because I've been doing this. Actually, it says it at the bottom, but I don't even have to go to the bottom to see that this is a GoDaddy site. So in the beginning, I want to tell you, don't use GoDaddy. They limit the amount of SEO that you can do to the site, and it's just going to be holding you back the entire time. If you're going to be making a site just to have something up, and you don't plan on hiring anybody, then sure, go with GoDaddy. I know it's easy to set up, and that's why a lot of people do it. But if you are going to be doing SEO and taking this seriously, don't use GoDaddy. Use something like WordPress, even though it's harder to use, but they're gonna be the best for you for doing SEO. I use a marketing platform because I build a lot of websites, so I need to use something differently. So when I'm coming to the site, what I'm looking for is if you are trying to rank your website for junk removal services in Dallas, your H1 tag should be apparent. It should say junk removal Dallas. That's what it should be overall, because that's what people are going to type in on Google. And the way that I know this is because in the past year, I've spent over $800,000 in Google ads in the entire nation. And guess what shows up as the number one search result? It's always junk removal in the city. Number one search result. So with that said, H1 tag should be junk removal, name of the city. Then within the body of the page, you should see that exact phrase 3 or 4 times, because you want to give Google all the signals that you're trying to rank for junk removal Dallas. And guess what? The title of your site should say junk removal Dallas specifically. Look, this guy has it titled as waste management, junk removal, junk something, and then Dallas, Texas. Sure, those words are in there, but they're not set up in the exact way that Google is looking for the keywords. Remember, Google is a search engine. It's a robot. It's looking for the exact terms. So what'll happen is that once the page will rank for the leading term, it's going to start ranking for long tail keywords. Longer things that people might search that go along with junk removal in Dallas. So the title is important. Head H1 tags. The body of the site needs to have it over and over, and it can't look like you're spamming either. So you see that consistency where I'm telling you the keyword needs to be everywhere. Same thing in the picture. The picture has alt text. It basically gives Google signals what this picture is about. The picture should have the alt text of junk removal Dallas, okay? There's a pattern here, and that's what I'm trying to explain to you. There's also, this is the title. There's also a description to this page on the back end. That's where you actually type in junk removal Dallas, and then you're going to get a description on the Google results. And in that description, it should also say junk removal Dallas in some sort of way, right? Now, when I run an audit on the site through Ahrefs, however you want to say it, you can see here that the site ranks for 0 organic keywords, 0 organic traffic, and it has 0 traffic value associated with it. And one of the other things you'll see here is backlinks. The sites that rank well have hundreds, if not thousands, of backlinks, and backlinks are basically social signals from other sites referring your site as a good source for whatever it is that you're trying to rank for. So if you're trying to rank for junk removal services in Dallas or junk removal Dallas, you should have backlinks that have, a paragraph, maybe 500 words, in regards to junk removal Dallas with the anchor text that says junk removal Dallas. And you should have this from hundreds of websites. It gets expensive, but that's why SEO takes a long time, and that's why it costs money, but it pays off in the long run. So I hope this gave you guys a breakdown of what SEO on a site should look like. There's so much more that goes into this. If I did a whole breakdown of it, it would take me hours to explain this to you guys. Unfortunately, I don't have that much time. And if you want to work one-on-one with me on your SEO on your website or your Google Ads, like I said, you can reach out to me. I can give you my referrals to people that use my services. If not, you can watch my testimonial videos. I do this for a living now. This is all I do. I don't do junk removal actually physically on the truck anymore. I just help junk removal companies grow. I help them get more business. If you need my help with junk removal marketing services, I'm always here for you guys. You can reach me at 503-914-7250. Shoot me a call, text, or an email. I'm always here to help. Thanks. Bye.